This Tennessee Titans team preview and fantasy football prep edition of the Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at underdog.com, promo code SMALLS. And the Sports Gambling Podcast is back with their 32 NFL team previews. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they'll give out one word of a 32-word phrase. Submit the phrase for a chance to win a $1,000 circa future. Don't forget, we are running a contest right now, and that deadline is coming up. All you need to do for a free entry is give this show a 5-star review on Spotify and DM me the screenshot on X for a bonus entry. Leave a comment on this video and send me a screenshot of that too. Prizes are some free Stephie Smalls Show swag, a $50 futures bet from Circa, and a 30-minute Zoom call with me to discuss your fantasy team or just drink some Nooners together. Let's go.
Are you ready?
The Let's Go was better. It was better than last week, but I don't think I'm quite there. Welcome in, everyone. Happy birthday to Malik Neighbors. We are on to the Tennessee Titans. Joining us is Jesus himself, sweatpant wearing Jesus, head of content sports analyst for your betting news, Daniel. And then second on the program is going to be the lovely Jennifer Piacenti to talk a little fantasy, stat leader bets, and some more just fantasy fun. So let's bring in, without further ado, not the real Jesus, could be the real Jesus. Can't confirm. Never seen the two of them in the same place. So I don't know. You could be Jesus.
I've been called a lot worse in all of my life. So yeah, absolutely. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on the show. And Chad is going crazy over your hat. And as a hat person myself, that amazing. Hat absolutely slaps.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I did see it. They had it in other colors. I probably should have bought it in more colors. But I had to have it. I mean, it's in my fucking bio, so it felt very important that I bought the hat.
If there's anybody that deserves to have a certified yapper hat, you definitely fit the bill on that one for sure. I kind of like the red. The red looks good.
We are gonna yap. The Titans. Listen, I am going to be as positive as possible about this.
I mean, okay.
We're gonna be as positive as possible.
All right.
We're going to start this out with the most exciting news, I think, coming out of Titans camp so far this offseason was about Tyler Lockett's virginity and that he was celebrating for the first 8 years in the NFL. That's about as exciting as things have been for the Titans. Hilarious headline when that came out. It's weird. There's not really a lot of Cam Ward hype going on, but let's talk about 2024. 3-14 first season under Callahan. Not a lot to really put out there. Obviously, they picked first overall. That's how they got themselves Cam Ward. 2-15 against the spread last season. That's impressively bad.
You know why that really rubs salt in the wound is because I bet them a lot last year. Actually, one of the worst wagers I ever had in my entire gambling career was backing my team to go over 5.5 wins last year and then proceeding to buy a Will Levis jersey. So both of those things I will not live down as a Tennessee Titans fan. I'm kind of going into this season with a little bit more of a jaded opinion of this team, but as a fan, as you know, of a team that maybe sucks ass or is not very good, trying to rebuild, like you have to be optimistic about your team. You can get hyped up, and it's been crazy. Like, I mean, I love Cam Ward at this point because I'm a Titans fan, and he didn't get any hype as the number 1 overall pick. I mean, they skipped over him when he got drafted. They talked about the trade for the Jacksonville Jaguars getting Travis Hunter, and it all started there. And over the last 4 or 5 days, I feel like people are starting to talk about him a little bit, but I don't really care that much. Last season was terrible. But the thing is this team, I think that this team is better than a 3-win team. I know that I can say that. I'm sure you can probably say that as a Giants fan too, of watching a team that sucks, but this team was just so handcuffed by the terrible quarterback play. I mean, Will Levis was awful last year. Mason Rudolph wasn't much better. Obviously, every single game, everyone was waiting for the the Will Levis meme moment, and I got to the point where I just had to eat my crow and realize that it was just not going to be his team. But I think this team's better than what that looked like. We just got screwed by, again, just Will Levis deciding to throw the other team like 4 or 5 times in the first quarter of the season. So I have high optimistic hopes for this team. Do I think that they're going to do anything crazy? No, but I think that they have an opportunity to compete a lot more than they did last year, and that's for sure.
Okay, so what happened this offseason? Like, even just looking at their draft, looking at the pieces, which I have a bone to pick with them. I don't understand the not signing Westbrook Akine. I cannot for the life of me understand that one. You have a guy that is a really nice, like, deep threat option. He was fantastic for you guys. I think he had like 32 targets and 9 touchdowns. He was a top 10 in receiving. Like, can you explain that one to me? Because I mean, let's be honest. The depth chart, little scary, little spooky,
Little sus.
little bit of what the fuck is going on kind of over there. We got Lockett, Van Jefferson, Saquon, Calvin Ridley. I mean, it's a little weird over there.
So Nick Westbrook-Akine has been a huge fan favorite for years, especially people that follow the team really closely. Last season was his best statistical season as a pro, and I think it just got to the point where they probably brought him in. A huge locker room guy. The coaching staff loved him. I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you bet on him last year to score a touchdown, you made a lot of money betting on him.
Baby.
Yeah, there you go. You've
Every
been slapping
week.
a lot of those. Yep, yeah. Free money. But I think it was probably one of those situations where they just realized that this guy had reached his ceiling, and I think that they kind of allowed him to go test the market. He's obviously going to be a Dolphin now. I think he went to the Dolphins, right?
Yes, he did.
Got a contract there. We're going to pay him a lot more than the Titans were going to be able to pay him, and they probably just decided, hey man, you're a good player. We like you, great guy. Go make your money. Go play in South Beach, and we're going to move on and draft. I mean, they drafted 2 wide receivers, Alec Iomanner and Chig DK. So I think they're pretty excited about the youth that they want to invigorate in this roster. And I think that maybe at Westbrook-Akine was kind of like, we need to get guys that maybe have a bit more oomph versus what we got with Westbrook-Akine. But I loved him. He was great. I bet on his touchdown a bunch last year, like you said, with that prop. So that kind of makes sense though.
Level-headed. You're very level-headed about this team, I feel like. You think so?
I try.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
okay.
I had to deal with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I had to deal with a lot of people shitting on me heavily last year for supporting this team and liking this team and and again, I've been a fan of this team since I was a kid. So like obviously with betting on them the last few years, like I had to go with everybody just absolutely destroying me last year for being a fan of this team. So I've been down that road, and I'm excited about them this year. I really think that Calvin Ridley is going to be so fucking good this year for this team. He was awesome last year. It's one of the bets and futures I'm going to talk about in a second. But I think that he's going to be kick-ass, and I think Cam Ward's going to be pretty good too. So I have some high hopes, but I've very tempered expectations for sure.
I will say this is probably, I feel like everyone's gonna be like, what is this girl? I actually think this running back room is kind of fun now. Like I think with Tony P being 1 year removed from injury and Tajay Spears, like I think you see them be able to actually do more than people think on the ground. Cam Ward actually obviously adds a piece of that. I worry about the O-line. I won't lie to you. They have some of my least favorite linemen, I think, in the league on one line, it's almost impressive. Like I'm someone that I was never high on Dan Moore. I was never high. Zeitler is just getting up there in age. You have who else they have there? What's his name? Barry, whatever the hell his name is. Not a fan of him either. So we got it. It's a little iffy too with the O-line, but do you think the defense can make up for it?
I hope so. This offensive line, like you mentioned, and it sucks because, like you said, you're not a fan of some of these guys, but like this is the best iteration that we've had at offensive line going into the season in the past like 3 or 4 years. Our left tackle situation has been truly fucking awful for the last 4 seasons. Like guys that I don't even want to mention their names, like Voldemort style guys we don't even want on our roster. So Dennis Daly's of the world. Like you don't want these guys trying to protect your blind side, much less even being on your football team. And we had to trot them out there to start. So I have a little bit of high hopes, even though Zeitler's older, like you mentioned. Dan Moore's definitely a question mark. J.C. Latham going into year 2, moving to the right side of the offensive line. So I have hopes, but I don't know. I actually really like the running back room, like you mentioned. Tony Pollard was somebody that I bet on a lot last year. And I thought he looked great for this team. He
Yeah.
and Calvin Ridley were the only two offensive bright spots for this team last year on one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So Tony Pollard going into year 2, I thought he looked explosive last year, really shifty. Tajay Spears, like you mentioned, a guy who definitely has a lot of zip to him and a lot of shifty capabilities that they're trying to still figure out how to use him. So I think, like you mentioned, if this offensive line just don't suck ass, just be like mediocre, like decent, like just fine, and we'll be like better than it has been, because Steph has been, it's been truly, it's like a turnstile at left tackle. Like I'm like 6'5" and like maybe 190 pounds, like soaking wet, and like I could probably do a better job than a lot of these left tackles that we've had over the last couple of seasons. So I'm hoping that's better.
Hi, producer Ryan. Did you just jumping in saying hi? How's it going? Right, we're still figuring out Restream over here.
Some tech difficulties over here.
Okay. All right. See ya. We'll see you later, Ryan. Thank you for jumping in and saying hi. Isn't it funny that all the bad teams have usually very consistent with their O-line sucks ass? Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you probably, you know what though, I'll give you your team a little bit of hype, so I hope you're prepared to get a little bricked up. I actually really like the Giants this year. I think that they're going to be frisk. I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show, but I think that they actually have some capabilities. I really think Neighbors can be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL this year. I think Russell Wilson has the capabilities to get him the football a lot more consistently. And I mean, I know you know this, but your defensive line could be just absolutely nasty this year. Like,
it sucks that their schedule's so hard, and they have like, it sucks because their roster is like, I think there's a lot to like about the Giants roster. It's just like, we'll see how it all plays out. I'm optimistic that the product on the field will be better. I don't know that the wins will be there, but I think they cover spreads. Like, that's kind of been the thing that I'm sticking with here. I think Pollard, going back to your team, I think Pollard and Spears are fun pieces to pick later in fantasy drafts. Like, I found myself tapping on them a little bit towards the end there. We can get into this year, I suppose. Win total is 5.5. The over is heavily juiced, which I have a hard time looking at this roster and understanding where 6 wins are coming from. I don't think I can get there. I think, they've finished 2-5 in games decided by 7 or fewer points. That's pretty consistent with every shitty team. I've noticed, like, as you go through these, like a lot of the shitty teams, this is where you can find a stat for almost anything on all of these teams.
Oh, for sure.
How does this team win 6 games? I mean, their unique games are not bad. They got New England, Cleveland, Saints. That's nice. We like that.
Yep. They get the benefit of playing in one of the worst divisions in football right now. The Texans obviously have run this division the last couple of seasons, but I don't know. We're going to see what happens going into year 3 of the CJ Stroud experiment. Maybe he comes back to kind of what we saw from him his rookie season. Joe Mixon's going to be on the shelf to start the year. Like, Nick Chubb's going to be running the football for them. Like, obviously you got Nico Collins, but so I think they get the benefit of, they've got 3 other teams that are mid at best. Maybe the Texans are a little better than mid, but like the Colts don't have a quarterback. They obviously, Daniel Jones, and then they have Anthony Richardson to decide from, and then you got Jacksonville dealing with a coaching change, and then Trevor Lawrence coming, hopefully maybe turning into the elite quarterback that they've wanted over the last 3 or 4 years down in Duval. So I think they get the benefit of playing in a division that's up in the air in a lot of aspects. I mean, I was just looking at the odds before we started. The Texans are plus 100 to win the division. The Titans plus 750. There's not a lot of discrepancy in comparison to a lot of other divisions. I mean, your Giants are plus 3,000 to win the NFC East. So, you got like, yeah, sure. But I'm cautiously optimistic in the fact that I feel like that they're going to be competitive. Like I said earlier, like the reason why this team lost a lot of games last year / got blown out in certain games was because Will Levis just threw the game away at the beginning of games, or threw the game away in really important games. I mean, you guys all saw a game week 1 last year against the Bears when, and unfortunately had to watch that game with a bunch of Bears fans. And
I'm sorry.
I had Colby Marcio yelling at me in my face with like this after that.
As if he cares about the Bears as much as he probably acted in that moment. I feel like he doesn't care as much as he acts like it.
Oh, trust me, I know. But yeah, no, I think that this team, I bet it last year. I didn't put a lot of money on it, but I did bet their win total last year and looked really stupid. So I'm probably not going to get at the window to over 5.5 this year. But I think this team can win 6 or 7 games. Do I think they can possibly compete? I think so. I think as long as Cam Ward doesn't play as long as he doesn't play to the point where he's just throwing the game away, making really bad turnovers, and as long as he's playing decent football, he's a rookie, so he's going to make mistakes. It's going to happen throughout the season. But Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best defensive tackles in football. I like this defense. I think Denard Wilson's done a good job putting together a scheme that kind of highlights a lot of the playmakers they have on defense. Young guys, but guys that can make plays. As long as this, and I think Callahan does have it. We'll find out this year. Maybe not. I mean, if you're the worst team in football the year before, you got a lot of questions to answer, but I think that this team can compete and do better, but I don't think that they're really caring about trying to win the division. I mean, all the teams are saying that right now, right? But like this team just wants to look like a competitive football team. And last year, between the Levis bullshit and everything else, like this team just didn't compete very often, which was hard to watch.
I think what sucks for Cam Ward is Jaden Daniels, because now the expectations that have been set of what Daniels could do, and I think that Ward is also walking into. Now, I will say I was very wrong about the Commanders, but I think they lucked themselves into a lot of wins. I think that I've been very vocal about the fact that I think that they regressed quite a bit, but it does kind of suck because I think even like that expectation is kind of getting baked into why everyone's hammering the over here. And I think Cam Ward needs to be allowed to make mistakes because he wasn't as polished coming into the league. And now he's, behind an O-line that hopefully can keep him protected, but he can make like a couple silly mistakes here and there. We've seen it before. How do you think this division ends up playing out? You guys I see a plus 900 for you to win the division on Caesars.
Well, obviously, I think the Titans are winning the division. So as a fan, I think that they can compete to win the division. Like I said, I do think it's a little bit more up in the air than people think. Like I said, the Colts with their quarterback situation, regardless of how good you think that offensive line is and Jonathan Taylor is, like their QB room is one of the worst in the NFL. So that's going to hold them back. As much as it pains to say me, Stephie, I really think that the Jaguars have a chance to be good this year. Trevor Lawrence. I don't like Trevor Lawrence as a player. That's also because of my fandom a little bit. But I don't know. I like Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas Jr. is one of my favorite young wide receivers.
A lot of fun.
I think there's a lot of fun down in Jacksonville that could go down. So if you had to make me choose, I would definitely not take the Texans to win this division. Okay. I know if you want to take the plus 100, go for it. But like, there's value on the Jags. There's value on the Titans. I don't really like the value on the Colts. But I think one of those two teams are going to push near the top. I think the Texans could take a step back this year, watch them win like 12 games and win the NFC or something. But I don't know. I feel like the Titans have a chance to make some noise and kind of surprise some people. And like you said, too, with Cam Ward, I think like the CJ Strouds, the Jaden Daniels, those types of guys coming into the league and being successful immediately has kind of changed our perception of rookie quarterbacks getting drafted early. Like there is obviously for those guys, there's all the hundreds of other guys that have been just truly terrible getting thrown out there. I mean, think of think of Bryce Young, what he dealt with his rookie season, even though he looked better to finish off last year. Like people were even questioning if he should play in the NFL anymore. So I think that you have to temper your expectations. You can get excited about it as a fan if you want to, but as long as he just doesn't throw, terrible pick sixes and throw underhanded passes that are backward laterals, like that's okay for me, I think.
I think that there's probably, I didn't take a look at them, but I think the exacta markets for this division are probably a fun way to play it. I mean, are you taking, I think this number is too short. The playoffs number is plus 425. That's a crazy number.
For the Titans to make the playoffs? Wow.
That seems short, no?
It does seem short. That seems really short. Well, I was surprised they were plus. I saw plus 750. You got plus 900. I was surprised they were under plus 1,000 to win the division based upon.
I think it's this Jaden Daniels Cam Ward effect though, and that worries me a little bit because I don't know. I think the expectations might get set a little too high.
What if he isn't as good as advertised coming in? Yeah, no, I get it. I think that it's also the like I said, I just don't think that Vegas really believes that this division is very good, which is why you've got a lot of parity throughout the whole division. Do you like the Texans just from a perspective of like looking at their roster, maybe not knowing them super close, but like, do you like that team? Do you think they're a good team?
I don't dislike the team actually. I'm always higher on the Texans. I think than most people. They have some of my favorite defensive pieces, so I think that's a piece of it too. I think they lost a big piece sending over Tunsil to the Commanders, but then they're also saying that maybe there was a little bit of toxicity going on there. So we'll see what happens with him gone and what that O-line looks like because the O-line was atrocious. Nico Collins. I don't dislike them. Like, I think they should be the favorites as of right. Like, I don't think that is improperly priced right now. But this division, you never know with this division. Like, that's the thing. And then you have the Colts doing who knows what. But they have pieces to like too. So can you get something out of one of these two jabronis? I just don't know I don't know if that's a thing. Like, I don't know what you're going to get. I watch so much Daniel Jones that I don't feel like I'm the appropriate person to be making that call, because what I would say is probably not.
The thing is like, and I've always kind of liked Daniel Jones. I like him.
I do too. I don't know. I don't know if, I don't know.
The contract ended up being the reason why people hated it and thought he was bad, but he was not bad. He was actually
the Giants were bad, to be clear. There's no way to
he was on a shitty team. Yeah. He's on a shitty ass team. But like, you have Anthony Richardson last season. To me, watching that guy play a lot was just so overhyped. Like, he is not a good NFL quarterback. Like, he can complete the flashy plays. Yeah, he can hit the deep bombs. Yeah, he's an effective runner. But
tapped out of an NFL game. That's the most unserious thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You're sleeping, homie, you need a break. What are you, fucking baby? That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. I can't take that seriously.
I had honestly forgot he did that. Just kind of on the field though too. Like, I can't even complete like a 5-yard dig. Like, his accuracy is just so poor, and with the shoulder problem and stuff too. Like, I just don't know if he's got the stuff to be because the thing about the NFL, which it's like with quarterbacks, there's all these guys that can make these 60-yard throws and stuff. But like, to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, you have to do the easy shit. Yeah. You have to take the free stuff. You got to take that to be able to move the football and get your first downs. And like, if you can't do that, you're not going to fucking win. And like, that's the problem for Richardson. And that's why I think that like that team's going to struggle a lot this season, just because of the inconsistencies. So
I'm going to go into an ad read after I say this. And I don't say it to hurt your feelings. I say it because I truly think it's good bad. I gave out a while ago at 12-1 the Titans to have the worst record. It is now down to plus 850. I still think it's a good bet, because I do think there is a world where this team only wins 3 games again. And I think their competition is probably the Saints, the Giants, could throw the Browns in there too. But I think there is real value there, because I do think if Cam Ward gets hurt, now things get extra weird, and I'm not a fan of that.
I mean, Cam Ward could also just not be good. And like, if Cam Ward's not good, then you're cooked. Like, this is the success of the Tennessee Titans this year, and this is the same as last season going into it, of like, they wanted to go into the season and finding out how good Will Levis was. This season, same thing. It's just with Cam Ward now. Is Cam Ward a good possible franchise building quarterback, or is he just another guy? And if he's good, they can build on it. If he sucks, they'll pre 3 to 4 wins. And then we're maybe picking somebody else to start off next season. So I think it's all just depending on if he's good or not. If he hits, great. Maybe we flirt with some nice wins and maybe make the playoffs. If not, I'll see you back next year talking about the number 1 overall pick probably once again.
All right. I'm going to tell everyone about the world's greatest sports book. We talk about them all the time. Circa Las Vegas is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest, Circa Millions, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo. With over 21 million in guaranteed prizes, you can't call yourself a true DGen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with the SGPN crew at contest weekend. I will be there. The college experience will be there. The man in the box will be there. Ryan and Sean will be there. It's an absolute blast. Great weekend. Live shows, open bars, plus you get a 15% off a stay at Circa with promo code SGP15. The contests are open to everyone. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. Yes, producer Ryan will also be there, making sure I drink water in Vegas. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades, no annoying league mates. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog, also great place to play a pick'em, where you can win up to 500x your entry. So how about a little PP? Paul Peterson. And Ekro finishing position better than 20. That is for the Wyndham Championship. That's going to get you 30.64x your monies. I very much like this slip. Go place that now. So sign up with Smalls to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code Smalls. All right, let's run through a couple of these player lines. Obviously, it's a tight end, so there's not a lot up there.
Yeah.
Ridley's receiving yards stood out to me at 900.5 2 years in a row, going over that 1,000. He's pretty consistent too. Minus 114 to the over. Probably stay away from his receiving touchdowns. He's been inconsistent actually throughout his entire career. Do you have any feelings about any of Cam Ward's lines or any of the ones I just talked about? He's at 3,200.5 for passing yards, 19.5 passing touchdowns. Over is at plus 110. Offensive rookie of the year at plus 350. You're not getting me at. It's a little too short there. A lot of competition, I think, for that award this year. Most interceptions plus 750. Maybe get a little goofy behind that O-line. I don't know. I don't hate it, but I'm not going to bet it because I like Cam Ward too. Anything stand out to you about any of those?
Yeah, I actually have money on Calvin Ridley's over receiving yards for the season. I bet the over 900.5. I bet it about 10 days ago. It's one of my favorite futures this season, not just because I'm a fan, so I can bet on it and watch it all season long, hopefully hit. But as you mentioned, he had 1,000 yards last season with probably the worst quarterback play of the entire NFL last year. So I presume he's going to be a little bit better than last year. He still was very healthy. He's still in the prime of his career. And if you guys have been watching over the last week, I don't mean it's training camp, so take it all with a grain of salt. But he looks really fast. He looks very zippy. He looks very connected with Cam Ward. He looks fucking hyped up. And I think you want a guy like that going into a season this year, looking to make plays. So I love the over 900.5. I think you can ladder it up to 1,000, maybe even 1,100 if you can find that on your book too. Like you said, the touchdowns maybe not 100% there because this team might suck. So it's one of those situations where you're going to be begging for that. But I think he's going to make a lot of catches. He's going to get targeted a shit ton. Brian Callahan is an offensive mind. Definitely is going to want to get him the football in lots of different ways, move him around, have him be that X wide receiver that comes off the line of scrimmage and, get him in lots of different situations to get him the ball. So, I actually have money on that one. Love that one a lot. Thoughts on Cam Ward? I don't know. I don't like betting on rookie lines really, because I don't want to fade him because I want him to do well. So I probably feel like it's better to maybe not hold off on that. But I don't hate the maybe most interceptions line. But there are some other terrible quarterback situations in the NFL this year that we just kind of talked on some of them. I mean, the Saints, who's even starting for the Saints, like maybe. So I don't know about that 100%, but I don't want to bet on a guy to suck when I want to watch him be good every week. So, but I have money on Ridley. I also think that I haven't looked at Tony Pollard's future props, but anything that comes out for him when those lines end up coming out,
I think I will be fairly high. I am fairly high on him. I guess quietly, I haven't been outwardly talking about it as much, but I do think 1 year removed from an injury, and then the situation and what he's competing with, I just think Tony Pollard is going to be a nice piece this year for them.
Yeah, no, I actually have a friendly wager with my friend Shaggy Betts, who works with me at Betting News. He thinks that Aaron Jones is going to have more rushing and receiving yards and more touchdowns than Tony Pollard this year.
Okay,
and I think that Tony Pollard's going to have more. We haven't decided exactly what we're going to bet on yet, if it's just going to be money or some fun shit that we're going to do. But what do you think? Do you think Aaron Jones is going to be better than Tony Pollard, or do you think Tony Pollard?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with I love me some Aaron Jones. There's a couple guys like Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, the guys that people love to. I do kind of love them. The problem with Aaron Jones this year, especially with the receiving, you have Hawk coming back. You have this Jordan Mason. Is that his name? Isn't that like a paper brand, by the way? Isn't that? I swear to God, that's I've been thinking this. I think it's an office supply company. I swear to God. We'll see what he does. I know the fantasy community is very high on him. That's an interesting one. I want to get in on that. I just don't know what. Now I actually have to put my thinking cap on before I make a final decision, because I do like Tajay Spears too. Yeah.
Well, Tajay Spears last season got a little banged up, but I honestly watching, because I was going into last season thinking this was going to be a true 50-50 split between both backs. And because I love Tajay Spears, and Tajay Spears is a very, very great athlete in the backfield for this team. And I think the Titans just got to the point where they were like, Tony Pollard's fucking kicking ass right now. We got to give this guy the football. And so I think it was kind of one of those situations. If that happens again this year, I think they're going to try to give Spears a lot more RPO situation type of deals, and maybe have both of them in the backfield, especially with Cam Ward having run some stuff like that in college. So, but yeah, take your yapper hat on or off, put your thinking cap on, and then let me know which side you want to come on.
I also am disgustingly high on the Vikings. I'm one of those, unfortunately.
Do you think JJ is going to be good? I'm worried.
I don't think he needs to be good. That's the problem.
What
I
if
don't
he's
think he
terrible,
needs to
though?
be good on that roster. I think that's where everyone's missing the mark. Like, I don't think it matters. He has to be like he could even be a slightly below average, and I still think this team is very good. Defense is too good. O-line is good.
Yeah,
like,
Justin
they have
Jefferson.
every weapon that you could ever want. Maybe their secondary, you could find pieces to knock, but like for the most part, it's just hard for me to look at that roster. And they've, KOC has proven to be able to plug and play. So it's like, this year I will say though, their backup quarterback situation is not as nice. I told myself I wasn't going to bet on teams if I didn't like their backup quarterback, but I already did that. It's too late. And Sam Howell does not do it for me.
Well, yeah, I'm concerned. I think you're right. Nail on the head. We actually did a preview of this on YouTube covering this entire division, and we talked about it of like as long as JJ McCarthy isn't bad, like doesn't throw pick sixes and doesn't throw like just really ruin games for you, this team's probably going to win 10 or 11 games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that their win total at 8.
Impossible.
Their win total is 8.5 though, which is crazy to me with how good
so
this roster
wrong.
is.
But they do this
It's
every
so
year to
fun.
them.
I know.
Do you have a favorite future outside the ones that we have talked about before I let you get out of here that you want to share with the class?
I would love hello class. Thanks for tuning in. I have another prop that I like a lot. I haven't quite got into. I've looked at a lot of markets on team totals or teams and stuff like that. Yes, I haven't quite gotten into those. There's going to be some that I have, but I really like Lamar Jackson's rushing yards. It's over 750.5, which I don't really understand this line either. He's hit this in 5 straight seasons. He had it last year. He's hit it in seasons he hasn't played every single game to start the year too. So I think that we're going to see another big time year from Lamar. I like the Ravens a lot this year. I'm a huge Derrick Henry fan. Obviously, I think he's going to be spectacular once again for this team. And I don't see a reason why Lamar is not going to have 800 rushing yards once again. So I like that a bunch. I like having Ridley a lot too, though. I really like that line, even though I'm a fan of that team. I think that this guy can get 1,000 yards and maybe flirt with being a top 10 receiver this year. So both of those are 2 of my favorite props. And I'll have some more stuff as we get closer to the start of the season.
We'll have to get you on closer to the season. Let everyone know where they can find you. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't believe it's taken too long for us to do this. So have to get you on soon. You're fantastic. Everyone go follow him. Let people know what you're working on, where they can find your work, all that jazz.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been fantastic. You can follow me on X at Sweatpant Jesus. You can follow all of us. I work for bettingnews.com. You can go check out all of our content for free and also follow us on socials there as well. We also do a show every single day on YouTube and on Twitch. You can check us out at Your Betting News on any of those social platforms, and you can hear us yap as well. We'll have to have you on another show. I need to talk with Colby and Shags. You'll have to come and hang out with some other of us sometime when we get to football.
Absolutely love that. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on Monday, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Debbie.
See ya. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Paul Peterson should not be 400 to 1 to win this tournament because he's one of the most accurate guy on tour right now. And he just came in second place at the ISCO. So maybe a little bit worried about him scoring, but that's just an obscene number. So go tail that if you want a fun long shot. Get yourself a little PP over there at mybookie.ag. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, obviously, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends, essentially the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Their MLB Power Trends and WNBA Power Trends have been going off crazy. Definitely go check those out, especially if you're not someone that is sitting down and handicapping these. Let Rhythm take that over for you. I, of course, am once again going to stick some golf into my ad reads. Michael Kim. People have quit on him. We loved Michael Kim. Top 5 in 2023 here at the Wyndham Championship. He is still playing very solid and plus 320 to be a top 20 as their long dog play. I love it. Projected to finish 8, rated out quite well for me. And now for the first time ever. I don't know that we've done a show together, but we've done leagues together. Founder of Shark Bets app, on-air analyst for Sirius XM. Truly great, brilliant fantasy mind. I'm so excited. Jennifer Piacenti, how's it going?
What's up, Steph?
How's it going? We have our draft. We're going to be in Vegas here shortly. I feel like that snuck up on me very quickly.
We are going to be in Vegas shortly, and I'm super excited about it. Circus Sports, this place to be, man.
It's going to be a blast. I think it's our third year already. I know you do a lot of baseball handicapping. How do you approach like this part, like right before we're getting to redraft, but leagues aren't really starting? What does that process look for you at this point in the summer?
It's insane. So I have this inner battle. Like I want to get up every day and bet baseball because like I'm into baseball and you can bet every day when you bet baseball.
Yes.
But then I'm like, okay, I got to start looking at football. And then there's a part of me that just wants to be like naughty and only do football, right? I need a day to just stick into football and not look at baseball. And then of course I get the itch and I need to bet today. And so I go back to baseball. So it's basically insane. And it's really hard to keep my brain in the right lane.
I know.
I try to like set a half a day. I'm only going to think about this, and half a day I'm only going to think about this, or a full day, because otherwise I'm probably accidentally betting Cam Smith when I mean to bet Cam Ward or something.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. That's hilarious. How, as far as players, like, and I think there's a big discussion because we kind of saw these older running backs like, Saquon and Derrick Henry get these massive workloads, and productive is not even the right word there. How do you approach players like Saquon, Derrick Henry, even CMC coming back, 9th season, he's going to be 29 years old. Like what's the temperature check on those guys? Like, are you drafting them as high as they're going? Are you kind of taking it a little easy handcuff? Like how are you approaching them?
So that's a great question because we saw two veterans just have absolutely massive seasons, right? Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Now, I was in on Henry last year.
Yes.
Definitely. I was like, I don't care that he's old. He's a freaking unicorn. Okay. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's going to have to really show me that he can't before I believe that he can't.
100%.
Saquon, I am a little bit concerned about just because of the volume. But that being said, okay, so he doesn't give you 2,000 yards this year. He gives you 1,400.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think it's just all about expectations. I still think Saquon Barkley is absolutely a first round pick. That being said, I am leaning a little bit more like in that situation, if it's Saquon or Bijan, towards Bijan, just because he is a little bit younger, just because he does have more opportunity. I think there's more room for growth. Like you're not going to get anything more than what you got from Saquon last year.
Right.
Like, you're drafting him at his top, right? And that's not to say he still won't be the best this year, but you're still paying top price.
Yes.
And I always like to go, a little bit more of where I might be able to get a ceiling. That being said, obviously your early round picks are your floor guys.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, I just took the first share of him today.
You did? Oh, why does it feel so icky still? It does. Every time it doesn't feel right.
It does. But I told myself the best thing about Christian McCaffrey is he has an obvious handcuff. And there are very few times that you really want to invest in a handcuff. But in McCaffrey, we know what Shanahan's system is, right? Garindo. Just get Garindo. I just have to make sure I get Garindo.
Right.
I'll be fine. Yeah.
And I think if I'm taking Saquon, like I like Will Shipley. I've been a lot of like in best ball later on. Like I like, if God forbid, knock on wood, not predict, if something were to happen to Saquon, because we've seen when he has these really high usage years, he does sometimes get an early on injury. So figuring out who I think Will Shipley has a nice clear path to being their RB2 there. Do you have a strong stance, like fantasy wise, like that you can tell you're not on with consensus? Like, is there something that you don't agree with, or you were a little bit stronger in that you kind of like flag planted going into fantasy?
I don't know that I have yet this year, except for that I will say that I think this is the year, even in Superflex, that you can wait longer to get a quarterback.
Yes.
Because they've gotten shoved up. And once you get past like the top 5 or 6, then I don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference. When you have values, you can get potentially like Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, even, maybe even Caleb Williams
Yes.
gets his shot. There's just a lot of really good shots you can take late. And so I would almost rather like wait and get those early, Jamar Chase, and then, like a Chase Brown, like, get these kind of people. I don't know. I think I'm on the Chase. I guess I just drafted an all Chase team.
Yeah.
And then wait a little bit. So this is the first year that I haven't been like, I have to get 2 quarterbacks in this Netflix league in my first 3 rounds. I've felt more comfortable waiting.
Absolutely. And I feel like you can also, you can take a couple of chances to maybe wait a little bit later on. And, you can take the Bryce Youngs, the Drake Mays, where there might be a little bit of upside there, but they're going very late in drafts. But there's probably some opportunity there.
And I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I always like alternate storylines. Sometimes I like to tell myself a story. Oh, first, before I say that, I just want to say, I feel very intimidated by the good hair that was in the previous segment stuff.
Yeah.
We have to up our game.
What was that?
If Sweatpant Jesus has better hair than us, what are you going to do?
It's crazy,
gorgeous.
Isn't it? He's gorgeous. And his beard is so like perfectly, like, I don't understand.
What? Okay.
So what conditioner? I need to know the conditioner, because I felt like my hair looked so dry while he was talking.
I was like, should have brushed it more. Anyway. So what do you think about these kind of narratives? Because for instance, so I'm a real stats girl. And if you follow me on X, I'm a super stats girl. I'm like, but every once in a while I like to have a narrative behind it that's like personal. For instance, like right after Josh Allen got engaged, I was like, this guy feels like Superman. He's having 2 rushing touchdowns tonight. Bet on 2 rushing, right? Every once in a while. Aaron Rodgers got married.
I know, but what is I don't understand. Did he actually get married, or is he being?
No, he got married to Brittany, who doesn't want the limelight, who doesn't want all that. And I'm wondering if maybe she'll be the calming focus.
Okay.
In Pittsburgh, not like New York. And I'm just saying, last round. I'm not saying it's a yes. I'm just saying, last round of your best ball. What if? And
I like it
for that reason. I'm maybe a little higher on DK Metcalf than some people.
You know what? And it's funny you say that, because I think people that have followed me for a while, I was like one of the, I think I was maybe even a little bit too early on when I started touting like sell DK. And people did not absolutely adore when I started saying that, because it was earlier on. And I think I am back in on him. I think I'm going to have some DK again. I like the idea of him being that alpha there, him having Aaron Rodgers. I like him in that system. I think he fits well there. So I think I will have more DK than I usually do.
Rodgers loves to have a favorite.
Yes.
He loves to play favorite.
Yes.
So I really think that DK could have a resurgence here. And it's interesting. They really wanted him. I'm interested. So he's going, 4th round? And so when it gets there, I'm pulling the trigger on DK more. I didn't take him at all last season. Speaking of, okay, you asked me who I'm a little lower on than consensus.
Yeah.
I'm a little lower on JSN.
Yes.
Lower. Because the way he was so successful in that slot role. Now Cooper Kupp is there.
I know.
He's going to be moving more on the outside routes. We don't know. He doesn't actually have a big route. He's not. I think people are pumping him up too much. I think he's still going to be a good receiver, but it might take a while.
I agree with that.
It's going to fit. So, and also think they're going to really do a lot with their run game. I'm really high on Ken Walker.
Yes.
Assuming he can stay healthy, because that zone scheme is going to be good for him. But yeah, so JSN, like you asked me, and I'm sorry, I should have.
No, you're good. No, absolutely. I'm with you on that. He's someone, and I love JSN, the player, and sometimes we love the players, but I don't know that I love him in fantasy this year, and that I haven't found myself even drafting him in best ball. Like I don't get there with the guys that are kind of in that area. I'll ask you, because I've asked a lot of people, and I think there's been a lot of talk about, Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall coming back. Obviously he was shot and he's coming back from that, and we saw he was very promising at the end of the year. People are very, very high on Juwan Jennings. I think that's one of the stances that I don't necessarily agree with. I think I'd rather take Ricky Pearsall a little bit later. I'd rather have Kittle even, but Juwan Jennings, why can't I get there with Juwan Jennings?
I don't blame you for Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
I am still in on Juwan Jennings because I don't think his price is too high. I think it's fair. But I have taken a lot of Ricky Pearsall, and in an article I wrote for Full-Time Sports, which is in the Circa Sports hotel rooms. We did the draft.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
He was one of my sleeper picks. Was actually
Ricky
I love
Pearsall.
because he's
Absolutely.
free.
Yeah.
And we saw him be really good. And here's another thing that people may or may not remember. I don't know if you watch the Micah Parsons podcast, but
I didn't yet, but
CJ Stroud, this is an older one.
okay.
CJ Stroud just raved and raved about Ricky Pearsall and how great he thought he was.
I
And
love
when
that.
a quarterback starts raving about a receiver that isn't on his team, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so there's something about him that's special, in addition to what
Absolutely.
he flashed in those couple of games that we
Yeah.
saw. So I am in on Ricky Pearsall, and I do think it could go anyway. One of the reasons I like Jawan Jennings is because he was able to be effective, whether they ran
Yes.
him on the outside or in the slot. And so I do like that. And obviously he had connection with Brock Purdy. But of course, we don't know when Brandon Ayuk is coming back.
I know.
There's a lot of question marks. I'm not sure. I think the guild may be off the lily for Brock Purdy. I think we may have seen peak Brock Purdy. I think he'll be fine in the system.
Yeah.
He's signed his big deal. He'll be fine he's a solid option for fantasy, all that. But I'm not sure we're going to get level up.
I don't know what his true, have we seen his ceiling? Because I don't know how much more of a ceiling we're squeezing out of Brock Purdy is my issue.
Exactly.
Exactly. Is there a player that you think could surprise and end up finishing, as the wide receiver 1, RB1, tight end 1, QB1, so be it? Is there someone that you think could actually, shock a few people?
Yeah, I think Ken Walker, if he stays healthy, is going to be that guy at the running back position that's going to shock everybody. This dude is talented. He's just struggled with health, but they're all kind of freaky things. They're not like long-term chronic injuries. So it's already fairly obvious that Kubiak loves him. We've seen what running backs have done in Kubiak's system. They absolutely go monster crazy. Yeah. And Kenneth Walker has a lot to prove. He's going to do great in that zone scheme. So Ken Walker is one for me at the running back position. I do think, and you can call me a homer here, it's okay. I do think CeeDee Lamb's going to be the wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's because, again, that the running back room, I think there's still question marks whether it's not that there's question marks. It's just not, it's not the straight, the Cowboys have always been so good because their run game has been so strong and they don't have that as much. And then you get Dak back and you have CD, and I am taking CD. I don't hesitate to draft CD.
And the thing is, as long as CD has been with the Cowboys, there has really never been another true threat. And George Pickens is a field stretcher. Now, CD works in the slot. He's going to get a lot of those short passes. He's going to break away. He's got yards after the catch. He's a monster there. But now you have Pickens. Teams are going to have to decide. You can't just double CD Lamb. He did great, even when he was doubled. Well, now you can't even double him. So you have to choose. Pick your poison. And you're going to have Dak out there slinging it. Jake Ferguson just signed his
I was going to say,
contract.
Speaking of someone that's probably going too low, is that Jake Ferguson.
That's absolutely is a great connection with Dak. As we know, we know Dak can put up a 5,000-yard passing season if he needs to when he's healthy. Again, I don't know how much you buy into narratives, but have you seen his Instagram story? Dude's in shape. He is a brick house. So there are some quarterbacks that I'm like, I don't know how they stand up. I watch Matt Ryan. I'm like, he's a great quarterback, but he looks like I could touch him and he would fall over. Dak is built he could be an offensive lineman.
I know.
And I think he's really trained himself back after the injury. And I just think I think CeeDee Lamb is going to be the one that really pops. And I think Pickens is going to be a great move too. And we're going to see a lot of passing. And in that lane, of course, we're looking at, potentially Dak to be the passing yards leader, potentially Lamb to be the receiving yards leader. At good values right now for their future.
For sure.
So
absolutely. And I mean, honestly, just jumping right into that, because you segued for me perfectly. You look at the passing yard leaders. Dak is sitting there actually at the top. He's the second favorite right now at plus 850. Following him is Mahomes, Goff. I do still like like the value on Dak there. I think they're going to be throwing the ball over the field. Is there anyone lower down? You know, I think Stafford kind of stands out to me. I worry about the injury. So at 16-1, that line is moved. I can't quite get there. Caleb Williams is interesting at 25-1. The further you go down the board, I don't know how attractive these names get. Are you staying towards the top of the board? Obviously, Burrow is like the big one where it's kind of hard to get past that.
So last I checked, Baker was 16-1 when I
Yes.
gave that out on Shark Bets. Where is he now?
I think he is still
12,
sitting there at 16-1 behind.
That would be my pick.
Yeah.
But generally for me, for futures, like I don't like to tie up bankroll for like, hey, 2-1 payout.
Yeah.
Your 2-1 payout is not going to pay you out. I'll guarantee you right now.
Right.
The favorite right now is not going to win. So don't do it.
Yeah.
It's better just to take a big shot. You don't want to tie up your bankroll for 6 months.
No.
Or something lame like that. So for me, Baker is a good one. And, we saw him put up the third most passing yards, and he did that with like a 71.4% completion rate last season.
Crazy.
That's bonkers. He did it without Mike Evans for a few
I
weeks.
know.
He
That
did it
goes
without
under the
Chris
radar.
Godwin for half the season. He did this with Jalen McMillan and Cade Otton, people. So now he's got a healthy Mike Evans. Okay, we may not have the best news on Chris Godwin, but he'll be back at least midseason. We got Emeka Egbuka,
Which is a beautiful piece there.
Yeah, we got Jalen McMillan. We still got Cade Otton, though I don't think he's a fantasy option at this point.
Yeah.
And we have a really competent run game, and Bucky Irving, the most efficient runner in the league last year. So listen, Baker, they bought into Baker, right? They would not have drafted and moved on Tez after they already signed Evans and Godwin unless they were going to play that way. And they believed in his ability to do it. So 16-1.
I love it. Yeah. Kind of have to get there. Look at receiving yards. Pretty much who you would expect is at the top of the board. You know, you have Chase at plus 600, Nico plus 750, Jefferson plus 800, and then you kind of go Lamb 10-1 and then Neighbors sitting there 11-1, and then you kind of get into your Drake London's 15-1 type area. Anyone maybe further down the board? I know you mentioned you like Lamb. I like Nico Collins, but I don't like it at that price, so it's a stay away for me. But
so I had the same reaction. So I saw that and I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
But then why isn't CJ Stroud higher for leading?
I don't know. See, that's the part that's not, the math isn't really mathing there.
So that makes me think maybe we should bet on CJ Stroud. So I did have that I'm like, maybe a long shot on Stroud too, because he also got some weapons.
Yeah, he did. Not one, but two. They drafted 2 wide receivers there in Higgins and Noel. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad look.
Brought in Christian Kirk. I mean, it's interesting. So I'm somewhat interested in that. But as far as, so back to your question though, which was receiving yards. Brian Thomas Jr. might be up there for me because of the odds. And I like to have odds. I think he's 10-1 or 12-1.
Yes, 12-1.
Yeah.
He's right under, I think he's right under Neighbors, which I don't even know if he's fairly priced there. I think that he's probably taking a little bit of a hit from Hunter would be probably the reasoning behind that. McConkey, I think, is going to be more popular as we approach the season. I 35-1. I see why that's attractive to some people. I'm not buying in on this like massive jump that everyone is like expecting out of the Chargers. Yeah.
I'm interested in the Chargers.
Yeah, I just don't know how I want to approach them going into the season.
I am drafting Ladd, and I'm drafting Trey Harris as a late sleeper. That's all I'm doing. I'm actually staying away from the Omari and Hampton and Harris thing, and I would probably rather have Najee.
Me too.
Because of how late he's going, because I think I'll at least get the solid start of a few games from him. I know that Omari and Hampton we all love to say league winner.
Yeah.
Is he really? Because he's already going so high.
I know. It's too high for me a little bit there, especially on that. I think just how that roster looks and how it could play out there. Rushing yards. Again, usual suspects at the top. Bijan's number has come down. That was the first thing I bet. I think I gave it out a couple weeks ago. think it opened around 13-1. It's down to 11-1. You've got Barkley plus 275 just from the usage last year. It's like that is such an absurd number to me. Henry's obviously behind him plus 400. You've got Jonathan Taylor, who is interesting given what that roster looks like and what they're going to have. They're going to have to rely on the run a lot. I like Jonathan Taylor. I actually think he's a value in fantasy for where he's been going in the drafts, at least that I've been doing. CMC there at 10-1. I think they're going to be smart about how they use him, so it's hard for me to see him leading the league in rushing yards. And then you have Bijan, and then it kind of goes from there. Is there any, like, does a A-Chain or any of those guys interest you?
No. A-Chain does not interest me, and I don't draft him ever. Isn't
Yeah.
that terrible? He's so talented. I
Yeah.
don't trust him.
It's
I
just
don't trust him
not.
to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I only trust, and I would never draft him in a non-PPR league.
Yeah.
He's great if they're using him as a slot receiver, which
Yeah.
they need to. But I also don't trust that his quarterback is ever going to stay healthy. I just don't know.
There's so many
So
questions there.
I
And then their
can't do
backup is
A-Chain.
Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers, and that's a little I don't know that I can get there.
I can't. So my favorites would be Bijan,
Yeah,
who's moved. Jonathan Taylor. I really believe in Taylor.
me too.
He just gets so much volume. If you look at like his last 3 games of the season last year, both of those guys, Taylor and Bijan, you can see where they are. And then probably like a long shot again because I'm crazy on Ken Walker.
I love it.
That would be nuts.
His odds must be ridiculous. I don't even have them pulled up here, but yeah, I'm sure they're sitting there quite nice. Is there any, before I let you get out of here, because you've been lovely and I've taken so much of your time, is there any future that you've bet that you like and you want to give out to everyone here that you feel kind of passionate about?
Well, I would say I think it's pretty interesting. The favorite for comeback player of the year is obviously Dak Prescott. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The quarterback going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I think Nick Chubb is really interesting.
Yes,
here.
I do think I do. I was
Really
it was staring me in the eye the other day. I think there is
Yes.
probably some value there.
I do. It's 10-1. Was probably better, before I was looking at this, before the Joe Mixon injury announcement. But
Yeah.
this injury for Mixon really affected. He went from being like the best running back to like off the field. It was devastating for those of us that had him because of this ankle issue. So I think that Chubb has an opportunity here, and it is an injury. He was terrible last year when he came back. He was not efficient, but he had an ACL and an MCL tear to the same knee that he had already had it too. So there's a lot of caveats with this. But he's also a beast, and he's also Nick Chubb, and it's also been a while.
Yeah.
So Nick Chubb.
I think it's a nice. I think the number there is worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are fantastic. Let people know where they can find your work. You do
you.
great stuff. All your bets. I love the ones that you put out during the season as well. I see you put out baseball bets. Obviously not my thing, so you guys can follow Jen on about the baseball there. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys. So I have a new app. It's a new business. It's female empowerment, I guess, that I started. You can download it on an Apple iOS or Google Play Store. It's free for 30 days, and it's basically all my fantasy football and betting advice straight to you. You get a notification to your phone. If I have a pick, like tonight, if I'm like Vlad Guerrero Jr. over 1.5 bases, you get a notification. You get a video from me. I tell you why. It's quick, it's short, it's fun. You get music, and hopefully you can win. We are up 82 units since the start of MLB season. So come play with us, come bet with the Sharks. And you can also hear me occasionally on Sirius XM, see me around on Twitter.
Yes.
Guest sitting on Stephie Smalls podcast.
Yes. And I'm sure I will have to get you on when we were in
cool people hang
Vegas.
out.
I'm very excited to see you. It'll be a fun draft. It always is. You're fantastic.
Yes.
I'll let you get out of here and go enjoy your Monday.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Yeah. Look at my camera. What is going on here?
What is going on with your camera?
It just overheated, apparently.
No, that sucks.
It
All
does
right.
suck.
It does suck.
It sucks
You know
because
what?
we're supposed
While
to
I
be doing it's because we're supposed to be doing some recordings after this, and that's not gonna happen now.
Oh, that sucks.
God.
That does suck.
does.
I made an intro. I forgot to upload it for
An
our
intro?
extra
Oh, this is extra
Yeah.
holes. Welcome.
extra holes. It's uploading now. But anyway, okay, yeah, extra holes. I made it with AI. It sucks.
What is that? What the fuck? What was that? Do that again.
It didn't get the title right.
Extra holes.
Extra holes
What
with
is going
producer.
on? Is it having
AI
is this AI having a
did not.
seizure?
AI is having a seizure. So anyway, that's what's going
That was
on.
insane.
That's what's going on, Steph. All right. So first, we wanted to talk about the funniest Tim Tebow story that's ever been relayed.
Oh
I hope
my
it's
God.
true.
I don't listen. I'm not really a TikToker. Like I don't, but this morning I was being a little lazy. And sometimes when I don't want to get up, I just start scrolling TikTok. And I found this TikTok and it was just like, tell me the craziest story that you know about an athlete or like the most random story. Nothing stupid, like whatever. And then I come across this. Can you pull it up? Because I forget. I cannot mess this. I cannot. Okay. Tim Tebow. This is fucking crazy. Tim Tebow used to bring multiple women up to his dorm. They'd stand in a line and flash him. He'd say thank you and they'd walk out. What?
Thank you for what you're
People
doing.
are actually.
What you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for what you're doing. I mean, he's Christian. All he could do was look at boobs.
Wait, did you see what my one of the people responded on it? We got more info.
No.
We got more info. This guy responded, and he went to school with the sister went to school with him. And he sent my message to her, you ever heard anything like this? And she responded, I just asked someone and they said it's kind of true. And he said, man, ain't no way. And then she responded, LOL. So I have more info. Chicks weren't lined up just to show their tits during Rush one year. Apparently some sorority girls had to go flash Tim Tebow for a pledge.
Thank you for what you're doing.
People are actually fighting about the fact that he's a godly man and he would never look at tits. And then there's people questioning his sexuality. So they were like, that's not true because, and there's people that think he's always been bisexual. I don't know. There's a lot out there, but Tim Tebow, if you guys, that's all right. Tim Tebow. Thank you.
Let's hear all, tech or tweet at Stephie the weirdest Tim Tebow stories that you know.
Yeah.
But try to make them true.
Remember when he was going to come back as a tight end?
He tried. Whoa, the Jets, right?
The Jags with Urban Meyer, right?
Oh, it was Jags. That's right. No, I was thinking when he was the backup quarterback for the Jets. That's right.
Technology is crazy because this computer camera looks like it's 2007 right now compared to my camera. Yeah,
what happened to your camera?
I told you it overheated. It just shut off.
It's just overheated.
It's just shut off. So.
All right. Okay. So I got a new game for you.
All right.
This is not in your wheelhouse, but I just went on Friday to a Weird Al Yankovic concert. So I've got Weird Al. Do you know who Weird Al is?
I've heard of him.
Okay. So he sings parody songs, right?
Okay. I need to look him up.
Okay. So.
Okay. Bigger and weirder.
Okay, so he sings parody songs. It's super nerdy.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 titles, and you have to guess which is the real Weird Al song.
Okay, let me close this out so I don't see anything. I'm not, Mama didn't raise no cheater.
All right. So here you go. Which of these is a true Weird Al song? Like a Surgeon. Oops, I Shaved It Again.
Mm-hmm.
Party in the CIA.
Oops, I Shaved It Again.
You nailed it. And I even made...
That's just my favorite one. Oh, I thought it was gonna be like his pubic hair.
Well, I made that with ChatGPT and they won't do pubic hair.
That's...
Okay, here we go.
Safe for the children.
Amish Paradise. White and Nerdy. 99 Problems, but my goat ain't one.
The last one.
Yeah, you're so good at this. Look at that. Yeah.
Big L.
All right, last one.
Okay. Ready. I gotta sweep them. I need my luck to change.
These are 80s themed. I Love Rocky Road. Girls Just Want to Have Lunch. Or Straight out of Condiments.
That's a good one. Wait, what was the first one?
I love Rocky Road. So it's like the Joan Jett I Love Rock and Roll parody.
Did you just sing the song?
No, I mean I can sing.
Okay.
I can sing all these.
What was the middle one again?
I'm straight out of Condiments. Motherfucker name. I don't know the
I
lyrics,
like that.
but I know that. I know.
I hope that's
yeah.
a real song, but I don't think it is. I don't even remember what the middle one is, but I think it's the middle one.
Girls just want to have lunch.
No, it's the last one.
You nailed it. You went 3 for 3.
Me and Weird Al.
Now you know Weird Al. All right.
Weird Al. All right. We're back Wednesday. Fun show coming up. We got to talk about the Bears. We got to talk about the Jags. Our friend Nate Collins is coming on. We love Nate Collins. He's a blast. Yeah, rate, review, subscribe, leave a comment.
Don't forget our contest.
No,
it's
we
gonna
have
be
2 days left. We have 2 days left.
Yeah.
If you're in Chicago, I will be at the National Card Show. If you want to come see me, I'll be there. And that's about it. That'll do it for today's episode of the Stephie Smalls Show.